You're listening to the Tumbling Saber Podcast, a member of the Star Wars Commonwealth Podcast Network. Check us out on the web at starwarscommonwealth.com, on iTunes, Facebook, and Twitter, and take your first step into a larger world.
You've passed the first test. Once we begin, there's no turning back, got it? Follow my lead. Let's go.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Bridge of Transmissions. My name's Kyle.
My name's Corey.
My name's Em.
Welcome back everybody. We're back this week to talk about In the Name of the Rebellion, parts 1 and 2. Man, what an epic two-parter this was. But first, let's be polite. I want to say hi to my two favorite knuckle-headed rebels. Em, what's going on?
Nothing much. Just trying to get down out of that fandom and out of that, just that awesome two-parter. Lots of Rogue One tie-ins and Rebel tie-ins and Yavin 4 tie-ins. Too many tie-ins.
Everything was coming together.
Oh, yeah.
And Corey, what's going on with you over there?
Not too much. Missed you guys last week, and I'm super happy to be back in the saddle. And I have to say, this episode put me right back where I need to be with Rebels.
Yeah, this episode was terrific.
We definitely missed you. We definitely missed you.
It was weird to not have Corey around to bounce Rebels chat off of.
Oh, I know.
All right, let's get into some Rebels talk. But before we jump into our thoughts on In the Name of the Rebellion, I wanted to run a piece past you guys. Something that Dave Filoni said at an event recently, where he hinted that there may be a bigger villain lurking in the shadows and not named Thrawn. I'm going to rule out Vader and the Emperor. So I want to ask you guys, who the hell is he talking about?
Corey, you go first.
Well, I'm not ruling out Vader whatsoever. I know he said no Palpatine. Who could it be? I mean, is Tarkin really that big a baddie that we're going to be like, oh man, for him to say something like that? Or it'd be cool to see Krennic, maybe. Although, again, I don't think that's the case. I think this is probably going to be the lead-in or a follow-up to the upcoming novel that by Timothy Zahn. I think it's Alliances or Allegiances?
Thrawn Alliances.
Something like that, yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, there's that coming up. So, I mean, it makes kind of sense for him to be getting involved again, maybe. And Filoni has not ruled out that possibility.
Well, see, I look at the wording, and Dave Filoni always chooses his words rather carefully. And he said that there what do you say? There may be some other villains more arch than him, Thrawn, hiding somewhere. We'll have to wait and see. Vader doesn't hide. Vader just comes right out.
Maybe Rook, but Rook doesn't seem that big. Like, he is a threat, but
we know he's going to be in it.
Exactly.
He's already been spoiled. So I don't know. Like, where could?
To me, it's got to be Vader. Like, he could possibly deal with maybe Ezra and Kanan, maybe, or you could just see what's going on in the like what Thrawn's been doing in the background, or I don't know. But I have to tend to think that it's got to have something to do with this book.
Maybe it's Scarus from the Imperial Navy. Maybe.
It's got to be somebody pretty big, right?
Well, but then again, Scarus has already been looked at in
Eden Versio.
Oh man, wouldn't that be cool?
That would send people right over the edge. What about Boba Fett?
That's a cool possibility. I'd say Bosk too, but remember, Bosk already has history with Ezra. So that would be difficult, I think, for Ezra.
But then again, he's saying more. There may be some other villains more arch than him. Like that, the wording used that says somebody bigger. I don't know, bigger, more. It hints at somebody more well known than an officer or a bounty hunter, and I'll include Boba Fett. Although I guess if any bounty hunter gets the exception, it is Boba Fett just because.
Yeah, it's Boba Fett.
Yeah, so I don't know. I would put my money there. Maybe he disintegrates Kanan and or Ezra.
Oh, he better not. He better
Maybe that's where it comes
not.
from.
Highly unlikely.
I'd almost say maybe it's got something to do with the Loth wolves, but that's too predictable even for a Filoni.
But I mean, I'm getting the impression that it's someone we know already.
I would think so too.
But Vader's too...
Ray Sloan. Come on.
Yeah, right. Well, you see the Imperial commanders? They dropped like fleas this past 2 episodes, so... I don't think bringing her into the fold is a good idea.
Well, we know she would live.
Oh, I guess.
She would live, I mean, and she'd live well beyond this time frame. Yeah, that's where I'm going to park my money. I'm going to go with Ray Sloan.
I can't park my money on anything because really, I don't like being wrong.
All right. Well, in that case, then let's go talk about something we do know about and that we can be right about. So, Corey, since you weren't here last week to have your say, what were your thoughts on In the Name of the Rebellion?
Oh man, I got a lot of stuff here.
Well, give us the Cole's notes.
I don't know. Just firstly, the way the episode starts, it was non-stop. Both episodes actually. Like the first one, man, it started with them coming out of hyperspace. They land. You're seeing Yavin 4 for the first time, which is absolutely so cool. And then right away, like Harris like crash landing, and then the next thing you know, you're in the war room, and you got all these top tier officials from the top of the rebellion, and like they're with the Ghost crew. It's them, and like it was like bang bang bang, one thing after another. So I really like that how it started like that anyhow. And takeaway a bit, I guess we'll say, it was nice to see Kallus. Ezra
Kallus?
got a promotion.
No,
Yeah.
Ezra was already promoted to that.
Wasn't he just a lieutenant prior?
No,
Now he's a lieutenant commander.
He was always lieutenant commander.
Which he never should have had in the first place. I know we love Ezra, but you don't do that. He's such a bonehead with that command.
Oh no! Don't say that's
a lovable bonehead.
No, the way he was waving his hand in the last 2 episodes. Oh, classic boy.
But again, just like the feeling of the episode, how quickly paced it was. Like if you say anything about this, like the storytelling, everything just happened like back to back to back to back to back, which is kind of coincidental or whatever. But man, you got to flow with it because it was just coming at you so quickly, and it was so good to see everyone reunited for once. Like Zeb welcoming them, Sabine's back, then Rex is right there, and next thing you know, Kallus is there again. Like, so that was really awesome.
Who doesn't like that hair flow and his uniform? Oh man, what a dream! Sorry, I gotta say that because well, he is pretty good looking. I like how Rebels Recon took a little chunk of that, then talking about Kallus, and putting it off to the side for a special little clip. It goes to show how much we love him. And then you see Filoni do a sketch of Kallus with hearts around him. No.
Aww.
You didn't see that on Twitter?
No, I was so busy today. I missed a
No,
lot
it was
of
like
the fallout.
It was like 3 days ago.
Oh well, that's even worse. On the weekends I drop off Twitter almost entirely.
Well, take a look on Filoni's profile. It's pretty awesome.
I'll take a look for that. That seems like it's worth it.
I gotta add him to my cork board now. I gotta use.
So, Corey, you're right. Like right off the hop, I think they brought the urgency to the show, and it had like a very cinematic feel to it. And of course, and it's obvious when they start tying in Rogue One and A New Hope, like in the opening shots. Like you get that ratcheted up sense of urgency and that things are coming together. So Em, what were your biggest takeaways out of this?
Ezra's story for sure, because well, when they were in the debriefing room, he immediately asked about Lothal after they were already assigned a mission. So you can already see his commitment and his passion for his home world, and he wants to free it. It's his parents' dying wish almost. And then we get that touching Jedi scene where Master and Padawan are sitting together and meditating, and Ezra's just thinking, and he's thinking Saw is the only one who can really fight the war. But I think after the episodes finish, he realizes that there is another way, and that way is to free prisoners, fight the, I guess I wouldn't say non-violent, but not the extreme way as Saw does. Because he was...
Well, yeah, this episode was, I think, in essence, it was about the push and pull of war. Like, there was Saw's extremist ways by any means necessary, and then you had Mon Mothma's ways, which, she's still hoping for a diplomatic solution to the whole mess. And in the middle is Ezra, who's going, that's all not well and good, I get it, but that guy's getting results, so maybe we should try it his way. And he goes and he tries it Saw's way. Turns out he doesn't like it because Saw doesn't care. There's that in that opening scene in the briefing room. You hear Mon Mothma when she's losing it saying, "We don't treat prisoners that way." And then they go off to that Feos station, and there's Saw treating prisoners poorly.
Yeah, he's already demanding answers, right? And they have no answers. They're prisoners. Prisoners don't get information.
Well, he didn't even care. He's like, yeah, prisoners. I'm not here for prisoners. Like, they're people who need help because the Empire is doing what the Empire does, and he just doesn't care. That's not why he's on that mission. That's not why he's on the warpath. Saving people's not his bag. Blowing stuff up is. But I want to step back just a little bit further to the scene where Saw's projection, his communication into the Rebel headquarters,
and even just before that, like Em said, like quickly, like leading up to that scene, like they come out of the war room there. Ezra's all upset because Mon Mothma basically told him, like, you got to look at the bigger picture. We're spread too thin. So he's like, okay, like they're not going to help me. He's kind of upset at that point, and he goes to meditate with Kanan, and it's just so cool to be on Yavin 4 like that, meditating.
I know, right?
And then, like Kyle said, okay, like the Saw comes in.
Well, and he's just goading everybody, right? He's telling them how weak they are and that Mon Mothma is a poor leader, and he gets her fired up. Like, we've never seen Mon Mothma raise her voice. Like, she got worked up.
Yeah, and Pablo said that he liked seeing the cracks between a very cool and calm senator like her, which I thought was cool too, because after all, we're all human. We all have human emotions. And after a while, one will crack eventually.
Yeah,
she's like calm, the calm, soothing voice, in those white robes that's just so
elegant, so pretty,
yeah,
so beautiful,
so soft spoken though, but so powerful at the same time. But yeah, like, and even Saw was loving it too. He's like, that's it,
We need that kind of leader, and in a way, I guess they did need a leader that they can look up to, but without that, like I said, that extreme way. But I liked how she raised her voice. Sometimes the rebellion should look up to something like that.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, she's definitely in her place for a reason, but she's seeing the long game here. And
well, I mean, these guys are all in a rush to end the war, and Mon Mothma seems to just she's moving too slowly for them. Like, how many other planets have to suffer from the Empire's wrath because Mon Mothma is afraid to act? At least they interpret it as Mon Mothma being afraid to act. But she's working to her own plan, which eventually, years later, pays off. But in the meantime, like in Ezra's case, Lothal is turning into an ashtray.
Yeah, it is. And if with any kind of definitive answer, them coming back in that preview that we saw, it's not looking good at all. Like,
no,
I was surprised when he's like, what's happening with the skies? I was surprised when he asked, what are they doing to my home?
Yeah, I mean, we're skipping ahead here, but you're right. Like, I can see Ezra's reaction to his home world being part of the reason why, or part of his fate in the end, where he's like, maybe he's just too bitter with the rebellion, saying, look what you guys let happen to my home. We didn't act. and this has become of my home planet. I'm out of here.
I don't see him quitting like that, but I definitely see Ezra's destiny being intertwined with that of Lethal's. Like everything that's happened thus far, started on Lethal, and it's probably going to end on Lethal.
That makes sense. That's kind of poetic.
It does.
Well, I thought the levity, despite the
Yes,
the heavy subject matter in this episode, like the morality, the high ground in war, there was a lot of humor in this episode, and
Oh yeah,
it worked, man.
It was so funny.
compared to last week kind of irked me a bit, I have to say. I know you kind of liked it there, Em, but I was like, I mean, it was a season opener. You're on the verge of like full-on assault, and they could have
being the season opener have to do with it.
You want to get it in the feels. You want to feel the intensity like this episode gave me. Like this episode had an urgency throughout, and they
humor last
intertwined.
week totally worked for me.
Anyhow, it was okay, but it didn't. Even my 5-year-old son said I was watching, and he said, "Oh, come on, Ezra." He's 5 years old.
Oh, no, your son
So
needs
my kids
some
had
more
opposite
training.
reactions. They were laughing at Ezra.
Who wasn't laughing at Ezra though? He was so funny.
Well, this week it definitely worked.
A hit.
This is Commander Brom Titus.
Oh my god, that was
That was so
funny.
good.
I love how
Yeah.
that guy just gets relentlessly picked on. I'm sad that he's gone.
Oh, he's definitely gone now, but that's another thing too. He worked his way right back up the ranks. Remember last time he had gotten ditched because he had failed in some mission, so he got like some really low end job.
Well, he still only had like 2 little red squares on his jacket, so it's not like he's way up there. But he was a punching bag. He was so good at for the butt of jokes like that. We're losing those butts of jokes now.
Well, no, unless List comes back, we can enjoy him again.
Well, they got to
But
keep a
even-
couple around, space them out.
Even that scene of them diving onto the array,
yeah,
that was super intense. It was almost well, it's JJ, I guess, but the first Star Trek movie there where they're getting onto an array in the same kind of way, except with parachutes. Like they called it close, man. My look at Chop, man. He took one for the team there.
Well,
No, I
again,
know.
Chopper should be in a billion pieces, but
he
I
must
digress
be made
again.
of like titanium or something.
It's no the reason is that it's Chopper.
Oh yeah,
Oh, okay.
he's a
Because reasons.
Because Chopper.
Chopper rules, right?
With a Z.
But with Chopper too, it's funny how you touch that because you got to give it up for him because he was actually pretty spectacular in these 2 episodes. Like he was funny, but then when he needed to be serious, he was serious, dealing with those prisoners, pulling the prisoner's face to snap out of it. We're going on this ship and we're leaving, so I don't want to hear you complaining anymore.
Yeah, he's had a big role in the first 2 weeks. No doubt about that. He's been
He's
really
had a big
vocal
role
and
throughout
really expressive.
the whole series, man. From more 2, 3, and 4, I would say. But man, he's done some amazing things throughout the whole series. It's crazy.
He's no R2.
No.
You don't know.
And like how he dealt with those stormtroopers, like zap and then slap.
Well, it's
Yeah.
a bit. It is slapstick. So if I don't quite get the idea that I don't like Ezra farting around with a jetpack, but I dig the idea of a droid flying around slapping people with a gun, like pistol whipping people with a gun. Like how can you laugh at one but not the other? They're both ridiculous.
Because Chopper did it with such grace.
Oh,
Like,
come
he
on.
smacked
Ezra
that
did it
guy.
with grace too.
Wow, he was a stumbling, bumbling. I don't know.
Don't-
He got don't get me wrong. Like he got the hang of it, which I'm proud of him for, because he flew it quite well in this episode, which is pretty neat.
Well, I think he's gone. He doesn't have it anymore because Saw, zipped out of there. He didn't get his jetpack. Don't know.
Wasn't he wearing it the whole time?
No, he wasn't.
No, you're right. He didn't wear it the whole time. There were parts where he had ditched it. Like on the Theos, he didn't have it.
So I don't know how he's gonna, live without that jetpack after he just got the hang of it.
Hey guys, I want to ask you. Ezra hearing the Kyber crystal calling to him.
Wasn't it like the
Sounded
Purgle?
just like the Purgles, yeah.
Bingo.
It's
Oh,
kind
you
of-
want me a beer?
It's like that for sure. But isn't it also? I can't remember other instances of hearing Kyber crystals calling, and I know that he mentioned it, like just like on Lothal. But I don't remember hearing a crystal like sing out loud like that.
Oh, it's. I'm pretty sure it's been done before in the Clone Wars, that arc with the.
No,
the
I know
Padawans
that's
there.
what I'm saying. Like it was really punched up this time. I thought.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Like,
But the
they
other
really
ones had
wanted to bash you over the head with it this time. Like, this is the Kyber crystal call. Like, listen, this is the things where you're reading about in Ahsoka. This is going to be a big deal going forward.
Well, I think the fact that it was the size of a truck had something to do with it as well.
Bigger crystal, louder song.
I would think so. Bigger story, just more powerful.
Shorter story for this crystal.
Thank God.
Yeah, thank God. But also,
Well, in a way, sadly.
those callings are like identical to the ones when Ezra even met Kanan. When Ezra was using the Force to guide him to get him out of trouble.
You're right. That's true. And they were both looking at each, like, Kanan knew he was there and, like, something. And, yeah, that was, you're right. I remember that.
You know, what gets me, if you go back to Ghosts of Geonosis, how close they got to discovering the Empire's secret. And you have Click Clack, who was drawing the Death Star in the dirt. He's literally drawing the map for these guys. And they're just like, oh, he's drawing eggs. No, you idiots. They're so close. Specifically Saw, they were so close again this week to figuring out what the Empire's up to.
Oh my God! You know, I just realized they had C-3PO with them. Mystery
I just
solved.
thought the same thing.
Mystery solved.
Seriously, maybe even AP5 could have broke that up.
Again, but it illustrates how painfully close the rebellion was to discovering the Empire's secret, and I mean, to not follow through, to not figure it out on time. Look at the consequences.
Well, take a
And-
look at Saw, right? And Forst's performance was phenomenal.
Oh yeah,
So,
yeah. He like the way he reversed engineered Rogue One Saw Gerrera to this guy who's still in one piece. To me, that's brilliant work.
But there's still that transition there. Like, you still really sense the paranoia and, like, you can get the feeling that he's crazy a bit.
Oh yeah, he's whacked,
he's schizophrenic now.
but he doesn't have the PTSD lunacy, like ultra paranoia that he has once we meet him in Rogue One. Like, he thinks Jin's there to kill him. And what's also interesting is that we know he's still in one piece in this, and we are really close to Rogue One.
I think
So whatever happens to
Go ahead.
whatever's going to happen to Saw happens really soon. We may even see it.
Well, that's what I was thinking. Like, I don't know if he'll be back again this season, but I had always said that it's if he's in this season, we got to see how that happens. It's not like you're gonna see him explode or whatever, but like you'll know he's on that ship that explodes or
Well,
something.
they did mention one of the power specialists had heard about Jeddah, so you wonder if Saw has taken his next trip there.
That is actually a really good point. That could be a possibility.
That I figured that's his next lead, so he's gonna push off to Jeddah because it looks like he's been on Jeddah for a while, right?
That's true.
Well, he's
And
got a home.
maybe,
He's well known. He's well known in the region.
And you didn't get the impression in this episode that Saw even knows what's going on Jeddah. Like, to me, it sounded like that mention of Jeddah by that power specialist was the first
The next
anybody's really
logical
heard.
spot, yeah.
So
It's kind of crappy too with the Death Troopers as well, that they didn't do the
Yes. You know
the
what?
voices.
They weren't. You know what? It's like they almost disgraced the Death Troopers in this episode. And I'm a little harsh when I say that, because we see them in Rogue One and they're totally badass, and then we see them in Rebels and they're just getting chopped down.
Yeah, they're not much tougher than regular stormtroopers.
Did
You
it?
know what the most I'm not gonna say the stupidest, but the most surprising part of that all is, again, like you guys said, elite death troopers. And their eyes are like green. So it's very reminiscent of night vision or
Yes.
something along those lines. And they're in smoke. And it's like, how inconvenient are these masks? Okay, granted, maybe they can breathe because they got a filter. But it's like, really? Like, come on.
It seems
these
like
masks should
they
be...
have no extra protection. You're right, or functionality.
And you'd think they would, because they're in fog.
But it was a cool surprise though when they open up that door
Oh, yeah.
and you're greeted by a bunch of death troopers.
I definitely jumped, I think.
Like that's
Like,
when you know
whoa.
they've hit the honeypot. Like this is where they need to be.
Yeah, something's going on there.
What else?
To me, it looked like let's touch back a bit. Like before they escape and whatnot, they're so close to really accomplishing their mission, even though they're questioning it, including Hera.
Oh my god, the Hera and Kanan scene.
Yeah, that was good.
That was good. Talk about trust. Heck, would you go with your wives like that? Would you let them fly blindly into the fog?
Well, if I could use the Force, and whatever. But just that her flying alone, I've been waiting for that just because of the trailers and stuff that they did in the previews. And man, did she handle the out of that ship, man. It was so cool to see the Ghost flown like that. And it's just the way she said it. They don't call us the Ghost for nothing. And again, like Kanan telling her, like, go down into the fog and trust me, and just, oh man, so good. And no, to me, it also looked like I'm gonna go out there and assume that the Ghost has gotten some upgrades, just for the sole fact that, I mean, they were blazing on in, right, and they just took a couple, 2 or 3 shots right off the front end of their ship, and the shields were holding no problem. So I'm pretty sure they got an upgrade in shields or something.
Oh,
very possible.
Well, then, again, Sabine's back. I'm pretty sure she learned a little bit more on Mandalore. Maybe she did some upgrades then. And it was so nice hearing Hera call them the kids. A touching family
Yeah.
moment.
Yeah, that was nice.
Break my heart, Dave Filoni. How dare you?
All right, so we have a bunch of listener interactions this week, but before we get there, I think for me the biggest takeaway, and I don't know if I mentioned this already, but back at the beginning when Mon Mothma asks, "What will we become?"
That's a huge thing towards Rogue One.
Yeah, exactly. That was Saw Gerrera's thing, right? To Jin. I think it was was that in the movie or was it in the trailer only? I can't remember now, but he asked her, like, if you keep fighting, what will you become? And it's odd to me that either he's adopted a little bit of Mon Mothma's stance,
Maybe.
like he's figured out that this fighting is ridiculous, I can't do it anymore, or maybe it was cut for a reason. I don't know, but as soon as she said that, if we stoop to the Empire's level, what will we become? And I said, well, geez, that's exactly what Saw says in the trailer. Like, did he come over to her side intellectually, or I don't know, but that for me, that was the biggest thing that jumped out in this episode.
Yeah. Yeah. And also, there wasn't a lot of, how Zeb was talking about all these kind of cells are in Yavin 4, but we don't see a whole lot of people or different type of ships, so I'm wondering if, like, some of them are gone on missions, or it's not really that big as we thought it'd be yet.
Something like that could also be a budget thing, right? Like,
Yeah.
it could be a very
After all,
pragmatic
they have to
budget
deal
thing
with
to
that.
put more models in and stuff like that, getting animators working longer when they don't really have to.
And then they have to work on that callous flow hair.
And those big mutton chops.
Oh, I know.
All right, so any final thoughts?
You're talking about episodes 1 and 2 here, right?
Yeah, we're talking about Name of the Rebellion, bro.
Yeah.
All right. I love Two Tubes. I got to say that quickly. Just the way
Yes.
he's so excited, like when they take off and he's just like Stardust. That was cool.
Edrio Two Tube's back. I loved it.
And he kicked some butt. I was really surprised at how powerful the B-Wing was. Like, it just came out of hyperspace and boom, boom, boom. That ship was taking some serious fire.
The U-Wing, you mean?
Yeah, the U-Wing.
Yeah, I like the partisan paint job. all black and white. I think that's pretty damn cool.
Like you guys said, Chopper, the voice of reason, almost throughout this episode. They also said the word Carillion shipyards, which I thought really interesting. I don't know what that spells out for Corellia and its future, and
then all those systems too that Mon Mothma was talking about. What if we help Shandilla and Lothal, and then we leave the other planets helpless?
Yeah, again,
for
speaking
sure.
to the morality of war, right? How do you help everybody with meager resources?
or how about this? The Kyber crystal, but wrapped in carbonite.
Yeah.
I called this a couple of months ago just because of the trailers. Like I told Kyle, I'm sure there's a giant kyber crystal in this thing, and then I'd seen another scene that looked like carbonite, and I kind of pieced it together. And I don't know if I said it on the show or just Kyle in messages, but definitely I kind of figured that one out. But that was so cool to see. TIE Defenders too. Come on,
Yeah.
Zeb was not too happy with those.
I don't
things.
like those ships.
No.
I think they're ugly as sin.
But it's all about the shields, man.
Well, we're going to see more of them, I think, next episode. So, how about we talk predictions after listener comments? Because I want to add to someone's comment because, well, I'm in the same pot as them.
Yeah, so Em, like you've got a bunch of listener interactions.
Oh, yeah, I do.
So let's go through those before we wrap this up.
So Dontrell. From the Facebook page, Star Wars Rebels group. Be sure to go check there if any of you are listening. So he had this to say: Ezra and Sabine are not brother and sister in my book, and they are more than friends. They become best friends, and most importantly, they are very mature. That the relationship chemistry is about to start this season.
They seem to be spending an awful lot of time together.
Yes.
They've definitely always hinted at that, in the sense that Ezra's always had a bit of a crush on her, and she was always a bit too mature for him. And now that he's kind of coming of age and coming into himself, and her as well. I mean, she's come so far, but they respect each other. They work well as a team.
Well, they bicker like a married couple.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah.
And that's all I need to see.
But I don't know. I think, to be honest though, I really think Kanan and Ezra occupy the ship in this series. We might get a touch of it toward the end of the series, maybe. Regardless, whatever it is, they definitely love each other. Let it be platonically or
Romantically.
yeah.
Oh, they're
but-
gonna be romantic. I'm in for the ship. Let them be a sail. But Sabine now is in a right state of mind almost, because now she's dealt with her family. Her family loves Ezra, but I think they love Ezra very dearly, and they're glad to have a Jedi by their side. So I think that it's worked out quite nice. And I saw I don't know if this is actually what it seems, but I saw a clip on YouTube when she says, as long as we're together, we have a chance. And it's just those two. Because, well, I see, with that one clip, we see Kanan and Hera on a different side of wherever they are, and then you see those two. So,
You just kind of inspired me there. I'm thinking about this. Like, a lot of people in fandom always say that we never hear anything about Mandalore. What happened to Mandalore? So in that regard, if they did ship them, they can ship Ezra off to Mandalore as well, in a way, you know? Maybe he goes back with Sabine, like you said, like the whole family kind of digs the Jedi thing, and the Mandalorians seem to be left alone for the most part, if they're still around.
and yeah, that's funny how Ezra says that he doesn't want to be Mandalorian. Meanwhile, he wants to marry one, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, the more they spend time together, the more I think, the more I come to your side, that they're going to end up together briefly or in the long run. I don't know, but I think at some point they're going to put those two together.
Oh, I hope
All right,
so. Next.
All right, thanks, Dontrell.
We've got Lucky Jarkus 2187, and he said it was amazing how Saul was using clues to what the Empire was doing by weaponizing the Kyber crystals. I also liked how Mon Mothma and Guerrera have different methods on taking out the Empire. It shows you may have the same enemy, but not the same values.
Yeah, again, that was what this whole episode was about.
How we choose to fight.
Yep.
And so we have Amy Wishman-Allen, the wonderful lady
Amy!
Yeah, she's awesome.
that created the Rebel Photo Challenge. Her and I talk quite a bit, and I enjoy talking to her. And
yeah, she's super nice, man.
she's
I
totally
see her all the
awesome.
time.
Totally awesome. Anyway, this is what she had to say. Ezra now sees the big picture of the rebellion as a whole. Saw and his tactics. Saw is almost developmentally stuck when Steela died. He isn't seeing the big picture. His myopic view is extreme and harmful.
Oh, it's absolutely harmful. And
For
yeah,
sure.
he's almost got like a bloodlust. It's this unending thirst for death. And he equates blowing up a Star Destroyer or a radar dish with success. And Hera said it. You blow up one radar dish, they'll put in another. Like the Empire is this unending like resource. They can just keep building Star Destroyers and building multiple Death Stars. Taking out one ship or one listening station isn't going to do anything to the Empire. But yet Saw thinks that this is chopping wood at that small level is going to do something.
Like taking out that Kyber crystal. Mind you, I think it stalled the project a little, because it was a pretty big Kyber crystal.
Yeah, it's like, how many of these things did they find? Because they at least had another 2, that's for sure. Death Star 1 and 2.
Yeah, good point. I mean,
Yep.
and Jeddah was shot down. So there must be somewhere
It
else.
still exists. It still exists.
So we've got Scott Snyder. I really liked it. I'm so happy that this season is doing something I've always wanted. Seeing the interwoven areas of the Empire and Rebellion. I hope we continue getting stories with Saw and his extremist group in the future. There's a lot of cool things to be told from their perspective.
Oh, absolutely.
Not much time left there.
Well, not unless they do like a miniseries or a novel. They've already done, I think, a couple novels.
Yeah, Catalyst, you can kind of get in between Catalyst and this era to see his real progression into, I don't know, insanity.
I don't know. I'm not disagreeing, but I don't know how much more they're going to keep squeezing stories into this era, especially now that we're so close to Rogue One and A New Hope. Like, I don't know how much ground and how thoroughly season 4 is going to cover what's left, but it can't. It can't cover everything to the depth of detail that we're going to want. So I'm sure we'll see something in this area again.
I kind of hope so, but you know what? We're now, I'd say it's almost quarter of the season already.
It's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah.
16
It's
episodes. We're down 4.
Yeah.
And by this time next week, we'll be over a third done.
Ew. I hate them.
Yeah, when
Think fast
Kyle had
thoughts.
said that to me, he'd said that to me a while ago when the first things came out, and we're like, oh wow, all these double episodes, and it's like, think about it, it's already a shorter season as is. It's like, but this was worth it.
The detail that's going into these episodes, like, okay, the part where the listening outpost was destroyed, and then the Kyber crystal explosion. Those 2 explosions were phenomenal.
Like,
Yeah, they look
this
great.
Is gonna, what happened this day made headlines throughout the Empire for sure. Like, man, they trashed like all kinds. They trashed that light cruiser, like you said, the array, another ship.
Like, remember Sabine's explosion from her short, and then that other explosion that she dealt? Compare those 2 explosions to the last 2 explosions that we just saw, and tell me how like much better the animation got.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, they
you
were
mean
amazing.
when Sabine kind of just put a bunch of detonators on some TIE fighters, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, that's they've come a long way for sure.
and I like how
Yeah, that was so cool.
and the animator
But again,
said,
like,
go ahead.
no, sorry, finish your thought.
The animator said that they were going to do different techniques, so I think that this is their different technique that they're doing.
Yeah, it looked fantastic. But there was another explosion last year that also looked really good. I can't remember where that came from though.
0 Hour?
Was it 0 Hour? Not worth thinking about. Yeah. So that last comment. I'm gonna lose my train of thought now, but yeah, I lost it. Never mind.
And then, so we have Mike from Force Within TV. Everyone knows Mike. And he only had a little bit to say because he already did his review and his thoughts. He just told me Mon Mothma talking to Saw was fantastic. And he's right. It was fantastic. Just seeing those two different types of leaders talk. And in my article that I wrote, I was actually expecting a more political episode, these two episodes, but turns out it wasn't really about that. It's about how to fight a war.
And like Amy said, like what Ezra kind of learned.
Yeah.
But what he said about the that hologram kind of, that was so cool, the way they projected him being just this giant head, kind of like the Wizard of Oz or something, you know?
Like Snoke.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like no.
It was a lot. I was like, dude, that's...
And
So I got my train of thought back.
go ahead.
So a couple of the comments, Amy specifically cited Saw's myopia, and the next comment as well was along the same vein. And then Corey, you mentioned that blowing up a light cruiser and blowing up a radar dish, yeah, that's going to attract a lot of Imperial attention. But the dent that you're putting in their armor for the amount of trouble that you're bringing back, it's the return on your investment is really low.
Not necessarily. I mean, they're at Yavin 4 now. We know they don't get discovered at Yavin 4 until
Last minute.
A New Hope.
Last minute, A New Hope.
Right, but we know that the Empire goes unchallenged until the Death Star is suddenly and unexpectedly snatched away from them and blown up.
No,
Other
but
than
I mean,
that, they
every
just,
little bit helps. Like, I mean, they got to do what they got to do, right? Like, come on.
I don't know about that. I don't know. I think by running around and blowing up Star Destroyers, yeah, it's great, fine. You knocked off some enemy resources, but I think all you're doing is in those cases, for such small victories, relatively speaking, you're bringing the wrath of the Empire down harder and harder.
Dude, like, this is what it's all coming down to. Like, we know, I've said this before, Thrawn is like this mastermind, right? He looks at something, he analyzes it, and he comes up kind of with a solution. When it comes to this, the Ghost, man, it's the Ghost and Hera. Like, that's going to be his linchpin, you know what I mean? Like, he's looked at it all, and he's like, I'm just going to pull this one piece away from you all, and, like, that's where you're going to, like, unravel like a sweater, you know?
Well, I think we still have yet to learn like how the rebellion is really built, because yeah, sure, the Ghost crew is central to General Dodonna's fleet, but where's General Raikan? Where's Admiral Akbar? I'm sure they all have their fleets.
And then there's Radis too. There's Radis too.
Radis, yeah. I hope we see him this season. But they had touched upon this in Rebels Recon again. Someone had asked the question to Pablo, something along those lines, and he was quite vague as to when there's an actual date to saying when the rebellion actually started, like up even until the events of Rogue One.
Yeah, and same Dave was alluding that too. Like, he wasn't saying they're alliance, and he wasn't really saying that they're rebel cell. I mean, they are a rebel cell, but alliance yet? I really don't think they're an alliance yet. We're close.
It's hard to say, and it's one of those ambiguous things that, whatever. I don't know that we need to know that specific detail.
What you do need to know is that the Ghost crew and Phoenix Squadron, as a result, are at the heart of bringing it all together. And that's a fact.
I would like to say it's a fact.
Dude, from season 1, they got drawn in. Hera was working with them.
I will agree with you if we find out that, yes, Hera's been also in contact with General Raikan and Admiral Akbar, and she's been kind of the go-between for all of these.
Well, who's the head of the rebellion?
It's Mon Mothma.
Mon Mothma
And
seems...
Who's in the war room with Mon Mothma? It's pretty much the entire Ghost crew. Callus, Rex.
Right, which tells me that
they're right there, man.
She works with Mon Mothma.
Which is, like, right at the top of things, man. Like, they are like the Splinter Cell, or like the Black Ops or SWAT team of the rebellion.
I would say they're the SWAT team of Mon Mothma's particular faction, the group that she's closest to. But again, we don't know what Raikan's up to. We don't know what Akbar or Radis or Nadine.
Well, they definitely don't have a Sabine. They definitely don't have 2 Jedi or a Chopper or the best pilot perhaps there ever was, and a Zeb. So
no,
Yeah.
they don't.
Yeah, no.
But they're
they're
makes,
not bringing that kind of game.
That makes the Ghost Crew very critical to Mon Mothma's group, and yes, the Rebellion. But there's still a lot to learn about how the Rebellion is really held together.
Yeah, and in that time frame when the New Hope comes, there's no Jedi, and I don't even know if Sabine's there because it just seems as though without an Ezra or Kanan, there's no Sabine either.
But didn't you know Ezra's coming back as DJ in The Last Jedi?
No, I don't think so. I
Me
wish.
neither,
I
but
wish. No, he
Nope.
doesn't have those scars. Sorry, the
Yeah,
scars are a huge telltale sign. Blah.
And they're well, it looks like DJ might have scars, but they're on the opposite side of his face.
Yeah, well, yeah.
That
Which-
can always be reversed though.
No, don't
in imagery, yeah.
don't get my hopes up now, man. I don't want.
DJ is not Ezra.
No.
Come on.
Come on, don't join, man.
I'm not joining your dark side with your cookies.
Well, that's what DJ stands for, right? Don't join. That's
Oh.
the meaning behind his name.
Oh,
Way
really?
to spoil, jeez. Maybe
Or
there's
Dark
people listening that
Jedi?
don't want to know.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, you can't help
Spoilers.
it. You can't help it.
You're the worst, Corey. The
You
You
worst.
see,
worse.
I'm trying to keep myself spared. I'm not even like looking at the news for Last Jedi. I'm just no. Don't.
Look what you've done to M.
I'm sorry, Em.
You're tearing me up. I'm trying to even stay away from the toys. You know how hard that is.
Oh wow.
Yeah, don't even. Oh my god.
All right, let's wrap this up.
We
do
got
we
one
wanna
more
do any?
comment.
Oh, we do. All right.
So this is a pun. So I thought it was funny. That's why I wanted to include it. And I'm friends with him. So AC Dragon Riders videos. He's got a YouTube channel. If any of you want to look it up, he does Star Wars films. If the Rebel team continues to fight by Disney's kiddie terms, then they are going to lose the fan base. And it's Saw Gerrera pun. So I thought it was funny. But he's got a point because the Death Troopers weren't really Death Troopers, and we haven't seen much slashing, shooting, even some of the dialogue when it's like execution. It should be like or terminated. Should be actually saying execution. If you get what I'm saying.
But can you say? Is he saying that the rebellion will never win or the Empire will never win?
No, if the Rebel team. So I think what he means by is like the animation team too.
Well, it
I
sounded to
don't
me
know,
like he was taking a swipe at Disney for their handling of Star Wars,
Could be that too.
which I completely disagree with. I think Star Wars has never been more popular, and we're on the cusp of a movie that's going to haul in another $1.5 billion at least.
That
And so-
much?
Oh, yeah.
I thought my $8 was gonna be a lot. I already
No,
got
In
the,
regards to Rebels, they're pushing the needle with this show for it's not they have all said this before, even when they were writing the Clone Wars, and throughout Rebels, I've seen it on Rebels Recon. The writers, the animators, when they look at these stories, I mean, yes, there's a certain limit to things, but they don't look at this as a children's show, even though it's on Disney XD. They don't really look at it as a children's show, and at this point, like this week's episode, my kid's 5. Like, I pretty much have reservations in showing him the episode, in a way. Like, this is... It's so heavy that, there's not all that much... There's a few laughable moments that are probably going to go right over his head.
yeah. I see what you're saying, but I've also read some pretty negative comments on even, like I said, the Death Troopers. So some have said that they're weak. Some said they could have done a better job.
Well, I agree. We said it before with the night vision thing. They got taken out way too easy for what it was, but they were also against Sabine and Ezra, which is a lot. But Smoke having defeated them makes them look weak.
Yeah, no, they've depowered the Death Troopers, but soon enough, the Death Troopers are going to be forgotten. We've met them only in Rogue One. Now we're seeing them sandwiched in Rebels. Very
we're
soon, we're
seeing
not going to
more
see
of
them
them.
again.
No, we're seeing more of them next episode.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, we'll see more in season 4, but beyond that, we may not see them ever again.
Oh, and speaking of, the Death Trooper Commander, I got the number too. It's DT-F16, and it's voiced by Jennifer Hale, who was lent her voice to Star Wars.
Jeez.
Yeah,
Yeah,
to
she's
Corridor, Knights of the Old Republic, as Bastila Shan, and then the Clone Wars.
Steven Stanton as well.
He's in like every episode as like 5 different people.
And then another fun fact, among the Imperial prisoners is a feline male. I think that's how you pronounce it. A first male from that species has appeared on screen. Female felines, maybe that's how you pronounce it, include Rysdale Sant from Return of the Jedi, Latz Razi from the Clone Wars, and Guti Teras from Star Wars Rebels. So it's cool to see that diversity too.
Absolutely. And yeah, the green-eyed or the green-faced power specialist, I forget, oh God, I forget his name now in the show, but I think he was also named after one of the writers.
Yeah, Mitch Mart.
Yep.
Yeah, he was definitely named after.
In the same way that
Mart Matten.
Yeah, Mart Matten and Guti Teras.
I think before we wrap up, I think we should do some predictions because we just got some heavy content today with those 2 clips.
Yeah, well, yeah. So we have a clip from Flight of the Defender, and then we got another clip for The Occupation, which is another back-to-back. So,
when I saw that one clip with Kanan and Hera almost kissed, I was like, no, Zeb, you goat.
Well, they just keep doing that.
How much can we take before the season ends?
I think this season's gonna come at us fast, man. Like
it already is.
That's it. If this even it's true. Even episodes 1 and 2, but if this is any indication as to where we're going, this episode was just so fun, so amazing, so much story to be had. And they nailed it, man, in my opinion, on all fronts for the most part. I really don't have any complaints with this one.
And then we saw the Flight of the Defender clip. I really want to hear your guys' thoughts because we saw that wolf.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the first look at that wolf who distracted Ezra to the point where a stormtrooper got the drop on him, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see. I mean, obviously Ezra's gonna get out of that, but we know that all hell's about to break loose on that flight deck.
Oh, for sure. Like I said, I wanted to hear your thoughts on that wolf because we finally now see it unfold. Like we've seen it in the trailers, but to actually see it in a preview, it means something heavy is going to. I hope we see some Force aspect too. I want to see Ezra's story. I'm just a huge Ezra. We all know I'm a huge Ezra fan. I just want to see his story so bad. I'm on the
same page, and I think we're going to see a lot more. I think the wolves are not going to be just in 1 or 2 episodes. I think it's going to be a theme throughout, and even the poster that we had gotten for season 4, we see a lot of ancient cave paintings with these Loth cats and Loth wolves, and I'm thinking like Ezra's a part of that as well in a way. He's the son of Lothal.
I call him the Wolf of Lothal, because if he ever frees Lothal, he'll be always forever known.
Yeah, for
they
sure.
can make little song chants calling him Wolf of Lothal. I'd love to see that. Please, Filoni, please say you had that idea. I know Fate's made.
There's more to.
I know.
There's more to them. There's more to them than just something super simple, and then that Ezra can communicate with them, and he can ride on them like he did the Purgle, and ride on them and save Sabine and go into battle. I think there's something a lot deeper connection to that character, Lothal, and the grander Force. Like these wolves look pretty all-knowing, from a certain point of view.
Well, Dave said they were like the Bendu. In some aspect.
That's interesting.
But
we'll look forward to that next week, right?
As I was saying, Dave's already finished voice recording. He's already finished writing it, so fate's made, but I'm like praying that he makes something like that. Hope you're listening.
It's gonna happen, Em.
All right, guys. Time to punch out of here. This was a lot of fun. Let's give this a score. We didn't do that last week, but let's give this episode a score on 5 or on 10. Let's do it on 10. So, Em, what do you give this back to back?
Geez. Well, I'm gonna be writing this in my blog anyway. Like breakdown of the whole thing, like character dialogue, music, plot, animation.
Oh, yeah. Let's just give a shout out to Kevin Kiner. Like
Yes.
the music was as close to Rogue One and A New Hope as we've heard yet. So I just wanted to sneak that in there.
So I'm gonna have to say that I'm gonna give it a 9.7.
Wow, 9.7. Corey.
Yeah, Em just did the first loophole there. I'm not going to give it any decimal points, but I'll give it a solid 9. It really doesn't get much better than this, man.
Yeah, I'm at a 9 as well. It was superb.
This was Rebels at its best. I missed
I think
this kind of Rebels, like the crew working together.
Just the storytelling, the pace, everything, the depth.
Yeah, it had it all. This episode had
writing.
it all. So like back, in a year from now, if somebody wants to go back and catch up with Rebels, and they say, my time is short. This will be one of the episodes where you say, this is one you need to see. So if you want to just like choose 5 episodes or 10 episodes from each season, this will be one of the shortlisted shows, no doubt. All right. We're going to get out of here. Thank you for listening, everybody. So I know we got a couple Facebook pages on the go here, but we have the Bridge of Transmissions Facebook page, and we also have the Tumbling Saber page. So go ahead and give those a like, and come say hi. We got a lot of conversations happening all over the place, including Twitter, where we can find M at
Emallam52. EMALLAM52.
Excellent. Corey, where can people find you?
Find me at Chop Rules with a Z.
You said Z. We're Canadian. It's Z.
We've been through this, Em. Don't do it.
I have to.
Don't do
You
it.
traitor.
Oh, I'm at Tumbling Saber, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Come say hi. And if you're looking for some more great Star Wars podcasts, don't forget the Star Wars Commonwealth. Check out StarWarsCommonwealth.com and you will get inundated with a whole load of really, really talented people talking Star Wars all the time. And also allow me this time to plug our Patreon campaign. And if you're thinking of spending a couple bucks a month, may I entice you to go to patreon.com/tumblingsaber. And between now and November 5th, which is right around our episode 100 on our main show. So between now and our 100th episode, if you sign up to become a powerful friend, you will be a part of our exclusive newbies draw. And you'll get a prize pack out of that. So grab a couple bucks, sink it into our Patreon campaign, and you can walk away with a really, really sweet prize pack. And that's over and above all the other stuff that you get as part of being a powerful friend, exclusive podcasts, early access to others, featured interviews with you on Worthy of Recognition. More giveaways. We have so much stuff to give away to our powerful friends. A newsletter, and my God, we're cranking out stuff everywhere. So, any parting words, you guys?
May the force be with you, always.
Seems fitting.
Yeah, it was good to be back here with you guys this week, and I can't wait till next week.
One more thing. I've decided that I'm going to change my lovely Lothcat, Kinder Lothcat, and instead of #Lothcat, it'll be follow the Lothcat.
Yeah, so add that hashtag to your tweet deck or Hootsuite, whatever it is you're using to monitor social media. Follow the Lothcat. And that'll do for this week, everybody. Thanks so much for listening to Bridge of Transmissions number 3, I think.
It is number 3.
All right. And stay tuned, powerful friends. Sith Disturbers is right around the corner. And for everybody else, we'll catch you in episode Gretzky. So we'll catch you later.